But last Friday night, David, I was out there seeing some of the better players from my old side at Carlton, and luckily enough I just caught up with Stephen Kernahan, but you caught up with him also with a very interesting interview.
Sticks, congratulations. 18 years since I last saw you running around as a little kid in a Glenelg jumper. It's been a long journey.
Seems a long time ago now. Yeah, a lot of water's gone under the bridge and a lot of footy, so yeah, it's been enjoyable all the way.
Did you ever think when you and Chris McDermott were bashing each other up in the backyard that your careers would be so long and so distinguished for both of you?
Yeah, well, I guess we did everything together as kids, and we played our league debuts together, our state debuts together, and we captained AFL clubs together, and we sort of done everything and paralleled all the way. So I suppose we're destined to do a lot the same, I suppose.
Now, your dad Harry is a bit of a legend around the footy world. He's a great player himself, of course. He had a big influence on you and Chris, and that sort of impact, that positive role model, must have been important in the early days particularly. Yeah,
well, Dad was footy director at Glenelg, and he was a good footballer himself and pretty respected in South Australia. And when Bone lost his mum and dad with cancer, pretty close to each other, and Bone and his family were sort of all big one family in the end. And I think Dad was a big influence on us. Did our contracts. He looked after us financially. He sort of did the whole lot there for a while.
Forward again, Johnston and Kernahan, 60 metres out, a long floater is through.
I first saw Stephen Kernahan in 1979 when I first started Carlton recruiting, and I travel Australia-wide looking for more Stephen Kernahans, and unfortunately players like Stephen only come along once in a while.
Well, how far away is that day when perhaps you'll come back to Adelaide?
Well, I've always said I'll come back. I've been saying that for 12 years now. I'm still living over there, and I like Melbourne, but my wife Jen, she's an Adelaide girl too, and we'd both like to get home and let our kids see our parents a bit more as they grow up, and that might be in 1 week, a year, 5 years or 10, but I'll be back one day for sure.
You likely to come back and play or perhaps coach?
No, I won't play. When I finish at Carlton, that'll be it. I won't be going into any. I'd love to go back and play at the Bay if they'd had me. I don't think I'd get a kick down there, but I'll just come home and just relax, play a bit of golf.
Out in front is Kernahan, and he marks on his chest.
Dad, did you know that we played golf quite often?
With Stephen?
Yeah.
Who won?
I always won.
And where?
Always won.
And where did you go after you won?
To Hungry Jack's.
Who organised that, to go to Hungry Jack's?
Stephen Kernahan.
Rumour circulating that maybe Barmy out, Kernahan in, like Barassi from Melbourne to Carlton. Is there a Kernahan from Carlton to Melbourne?
Jeez, I haven't heard that one, Dave.
I've just given you that one.
Yeah, I thought you might have. Yeah, they're writing me off playing already, but we'll see what happens with coaching. It's something you won't know till you're in that position.
Have you been conscious of the records? You sort of look back ever? Do you take time to sit back and look at the records? The longest serving Carlton captain, you've just broken Soapy Valence's record, and I remember when I was there sitting in the pub, Soapy used to tell me how good he was and how I should be kicking goals. Was he doing that with you too?
Yeah, he was. He's a jovial bloke. I met him a few times, and he's passed on, of course, and he's a bit of a larrikin, loved the beer like most of us, and I guess if you play long enough, as I've said before, these records tend to come along. So, 33 years of age, I guess you've got to break something sooner or later.
Well, tell me, what means more? 8 All-Australians, the longest-serving Carlton captain, couple of premierships, 3 Glenelg best and fairest, 3 Carlton best and fairest. What won amongst that? Or perhaps missing a Magarey medal by being ineligible?
Yeah, well, it's a pretty easy question. My premierships, that's what I played for, 85 with the Bays, which was really special to me. We played with all my mates I've grown up with, and 87 to captain one a premiership in my first year as captain with Carlton was great, and especially fantastic was 95 when we'd been written off for so many years as too old and too slow to hold that cup up. I think they were the 3 standouts for me.
And perhaps a pity that it could well be the last game that we see of Stephen Kernahan wearing the black and gold Glenelg jumper.
Well, Sticks, as he's called, is probably one of the 2 greatest players to ever play at Carlton, the best captain, the second longest serving captain in the AFL, the leading goal kicker ever to play at Carlton.
Well, Graham Corn says openly that the Adelaide Football Club didn't try hard enough to bring you back just a few years ago. He says they sent Freddie McGuinness over and Bones McDermott to bring you back. Well, what's the true story of that?
Well, it's been well documented, I suppose, but I don't think that's right. Bill Sanders and Bob Hammond were fantastic. I mean, they knew me pretty well, and I didn't want to talk to anyone. If they had been driving me mad during this footy season, I would have put me offside, and they left me alone. But at the end of the season, they sent over those two blokes to fill me full of drink and see if I could get on the dotted line. But look, if you're not working hard enough, giving me a lot better offer than I signed with Carlton for, you know, and doing everything I wished. And at the end of the day, I wasn't going to go. I don't think anything Adelaide could have done, money-wise or pressure-wise, I was never going to go.
Absolutely. The judgment of Kernahan was the thing. It was impeccable. Wildy brought back now, bringing Stephen Kernahan to within scoring distance of goal.
He has time for everybody. Time for the kid who's played his first game, time for the senior players, time for players who have left the club. Put it all together, I suppose if there's anything that's a higher tribute to them in his football ability is the fact that he's a wonderful guy.
Are there any regrets? Is there something perhaps that you'd like to have done you haven't?
No, you know, I'm pretty happy with what you've achieved so far. Captain of a great place, and the main thing I'm happy is that I found a place. When you leave Glenelg, you never think you'd find a place like it. That was home, and it was so hard to leave, and you know, to find another place much like home was fantastic, and I'm still there, and you know, that's probably what I'm pleased about more than anything.
And there's Stephen Kernahan, one of South Australia's favourite sons, no doubt about that. But according to the BM magazine, the Brendan Maguire is Playing Well magazine, the Central District fanzine, there's South Australia's real favourite son. It's Johnny Platten. Well, you be the judge. I think both of them would be high amongst our best players, no doubt about that. And we might add that Stephen Kernahan gave us that interview after Carlton lost last week. He kicked 4 points, he got reported, had a pretty ordinary night, and he still had time for us, and we thank him. We did that tribute as part of his testimonial year. Carlton have given him a testimonial this year, only the 4th player in Carlton's history ever to receive a testimonial year from the Carlton Football Club.